Hey there. Welcome to the Gyro Step Milwaukee Bucks podcast, proudly a part of the Blue Wire Podcast Network and GSPN, and presented by our pals at Prize Picks, where, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays on us. Make a $5 lineup for the first time and get $50 whether you win or lose. That is your Christmas present from us. I am Ty Windisch, joined as always by my lovely co-host Rohan Katti. Unlike the Bucks Big Two, we're back. Or I should say we're back before the Bucks Big Two. I guess we were gone for a little bit as well, but excited to be podcasting about the Bucks again with you as we're almost to 2025, Rohan.
That's insane. Is that not insane?
That's insane. I agree.
It's crazy. We started doing this in 2019? Yeah, 2019.
Yep.
And it's almost 2025. Crazy. Absolutely insane. But yeah, doing well. Happy to be here talking about the Bucks. Hope everyone is enjoying their holidays. New Year is approaching. Be safe. Have fun.
Yeah.
But it's been a good time. It's been a good couple of days. The Bucks have been playing some games. Dame and Giannis have not been playing some games. The Bucks have been winning though.
Yeah.
They've been winning.
Holding it down, fifth in the East still.
Yeah, they're still above 500, 16 and 13. You would hope it's a little better, but after their 2-8 start, we will take this.
Yeah.
But it's been a weird couple of games for the Bucks, right? It feels like Dame and Giannis have just been taking the holidays off. That's not the case. I guess we should give some context. Doc Rivers has been saying there's been like a sickness going around ever since Vegas and even pre-Vegas, and it's just been making their way through the team. We saw Khris Middleton miss the NBA Cup championship with an illness. We've seen a lot of guys questionable on the injury report with illness. Now Dame has been out. Giannis is out. Giannis initially missed games due to back spasms, but now is out due to sickness. It's been a lot. It's been a lot for the Bucks. Yet they've still been holding it down. Khris Middleton, Brook Lopez, they've been holding down the fort. It's been a fun couple of games. As someone who. As people who are just certified basketball sickos, you and me,
yeah,
I kind of like these games.
After the way the Nets game ended, I'm ready for Dame and Giannis to be back, but it was kind of fun. I've seen it called stress-free basketball. I don't know if that's totally true. Like, I think if the Bucks had gone 1-2 or 0-3 in this stretch, you'd be feeling kind of bad because, as you mentioned, still trying to claw their way fully back from the really bad start to the season. And still some ways to go, although Orlando has cooled down a little bit. So Milwaukee is not that far out of fourth and thus home court in the first round at this point. But the Celtics, the Cavs, and the Knicks have continued winning. So still a lot of ground to make up if the Bucks are going to be a top 3 seed, which seems like the new reasonable goal for Milwaukee. But that said, it was really fun to see some of these players who haven't gotten as much minutes or as many opportunities step up in these set few games. Right before we get to that, I think we probably get Giannis and Dame back soon, at least one of them. We did see there is a soccer player who I am not familiar with, but he visited the game, was courtside, and then took pictures with them. So I assume you're hopefully feeling a little bit better if you're going to be taking pictures with this guy, or you're just ruining his holiday to Milwaukee for some reason. I'm not exactly sure, but
I think it was it seems like it was like a pre-planned trip. Obviously, ask Andrew or Adam more about this.
Yeah, I don't know that other guy.
They'll know. Apparently, they're on break. Andrew tried to give me an explanation. I don't really get it.
I still don't get why he's there. Yeah, he's just a Dame and Giannis fan, I guess.
Hey, he came to the greatest city on earth, Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
That's true. I always tell people, if you're going to go, do it in late December. The perfect time.
He wanted to see a white Christmas. Milwaukee had a white Christmas for the second time in 7 years, I think.
Danny Olmo of FC Barcelona. He did the Dame time. He got a signed Dame jersey. He wore Dame time Adidas. Did you see this?
I did not. I saw he was in the practice facility at some point, and he was kicking half-court shots in. Okay, this is for the YouTube viewers. Wow. That is sick. That is sick. Those are sweet custom.
Yeah, so I assume he just wore those in, so he must be a big Dame guy. And, of course, you got to pay tribute to the cup.
Oh, he got the cup there. He also held the
Perfect. Cup. Yeah. You got to pay tribute to the NBA Cup. So this guy, he also, I love this. This post just goes on and on. Hung out with Ryan Rollins.
There we go.
Of course. Who were the 3 accounts posted this? Dame, Bucks, and this guy. Brook Lopez as well. Brook got a jersey, and then, he jersey swapped with Dame. Oh, the other shoe is this guy. Wait, did he wear these? Did he wear a shoe that also has him? I mean, he must be an Adidas guy, is what I'm gathering.
Maybe.
Maybe he did the Sully too. It looks like he's doing Dame time.
Yes, he did. He has done that in the past. I remember.
So maybe that's why. And then this hilariously kind of awkward pic of just him standing
just
on the
in
logo.
The practice facility.
This is like fans take this photo too when they tour it, but that's cool.
Yeah, he was kicking in half court shots. I saw.
That's sick. So that guy came and visited, and I guess Giannis wasn't in those, but Dame at least was. So hopefully the Bucks get at least one of their stars back for Friday night's game. Their second to last game in 2024 when they go to Chicago to take on the Bulls, and then New Year's Eve at 2 p.m. on New Year's Eve, the Bucks will be in Indiana to play the Pacers for their last game of 2024. I'm thinking we'll have one of Dame or Giannis back, but they have been quite sick. But honestly, I guess silver lining, the rest people were worried about them losing out for the Cup games. I mean, not true rest if you're like puking your guts out or whatever, but a little less miles on their bodies this last week, and the Bucks didn't totally take L's because of it. So I guess that's the silver lining, is those guys got off the Dame had the calf that was bothering him, Giannis had the back spasms, and clearly they have not been, playing a bunch of basketball on those injuries. So hopefully those guys can feel refreshed and recovered when they return to action for the Bucks here.
Yeah, it's always good to get some guys some rest. You see, this has been a year that's just been plagued with injuries. Obviously, Luka is the latest victim of that. Yep. He's going to be out for at least a month.
AD's probably missing time, right?
AD said he's probably going to be playing the next game.
Oh, okay, but he's got an ankle. He had to leave the Christmas Day game.
Yeah, but it's just been a weird year with injuries. So I'm obviously unfortunate that they're sick and under the weather, but kind of fortunate that they're not putting too much strain on their bodies.
If they had to miss time with something, like I guess illness is probably toward the top of the list of what you'd want.
Especially during this stretch of games, right? Yeah. Like these have been very, very winnable games because, the Bucks have been winning them. I mean, they've gone 2-2 since they won the NBA Cup. One of those and any of those games did not have both Giannis and Dame. Giannis played the first game against Cleveland and then hasn't played the remaining 3. Dame hasn't played in 4 straight games. If there was any time to miss as well, like this is the time to miss. That's the stretch. I mean, Cleveland's obviously a good team, but Washington, Chicago, Brooklyn, even like the next Chicago game, I don't even know if we'll have both of them back.
I mean, the next 3 is now Chicago, Indiana, Brooklyn, and then Portland, and then Toronto, and then Spurs. So there's certainly some time to not rush these guys back. And one nice thing about the injury updates, Doc is a lot more transparent than we're used to, is he basically was like, Dame's calf was feeling better, and then he got sick, and then same with Giannis. So we do have more or less confirmation that those things that were bothering those guys have not been an issue, but the sickness has just left them kind of unable to play.
No. But we've got to see a bunch of other guys showcased, and I guess we could start talking about Ryan Rollins, since he's a star according to...
Yeah. We can't, actually. We need to start with the Bucks leading scorer, rebounder, and assister from this 3-game stretch. I actually, Rohan, insist we talk about Bobby Portis. I always want to call him Robert, and then I remember it's literally his name is Bobby.
It's crazy,
cannot call him Robert. Yeah. 23.7 points, 10.3 rebounds, and 6 assists per game for Bobby Portis. Also, to combine 2 stocks, 1.7 steals is also close to lead for the Bucks in this time. He's been really good, not just offensively, but certainly the offense has been what the Bucks have really needed. And again, just to make sure I'm not underselling it, leading the Bucks in assists per game, not just scoring, not just rebounding, which you may expect. Assists per game, he's tied with Khris, but they both have 6 assists per game in these 3 games without either Giannis nor Dame. That's big-time stuff. Also, despite going 0 for 4 against Brooklyn, Bobby's still shooting 50, 40, 87 splits in that stretch. 50.9% from the field, 42% from 3, 87.5% from free throw. It's just been really good. And I think defensively he's been better. There's still moments. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to paint a perfect picture and pretend every miscue is a happy accident like Bob Ross. But he's been really, really good.
Nice.
Yeah, Bobby Ross. And I want to give Bobby his flowers because they are certainly not 2-1. They don't have these 2 wins without him playing the way he's playing.
No, he's been their most reliable player during this stretch for sure. You've seen this throughout Bobby Portis' tenure. when Giannis is out, he steps up and really goes at that scoring role because that's what he's best suited to do. When he's in that starting lineup, yeah, you can run an offense through Bobby Portis. Is it going to be the best offense of all time? No. Is it going to be the most creative offense of all time? No. Is it going to get you some buckets? Yeah. Yeah, it's going to get you some buckets because it's weird. You mentioned him co-leading the Bucks in assists during this stretch. It's because he's drawing multiple guys when he goes to the post, and it's like, what? What's going on here? Because you have to send doubles about. It was even more apparent in that Brooklyn game, and he struggled a bit more in that Brooklyn game. But they were sending doubles at him. He was passing. He was making the right reads. He was getting guys set up in good positions, and it was working. It was working really well. You look at that Wizards game. Is that the most complete game that Bobby Portis has played in a Bucks uniform?
I think it was his Bucks scoring high, and in addition, he had more than 10 rebounds and 8 assists.
Like, yeah, it was his career high in assists for sure.
Yeah, I think absolutely it was. I think he has been looking to pass a lot more out of his post-ups, which is a big deal. And that's, again, he's not going to be averaging 23, 10, and 6 when Dame and Giannis are back. But can he continue to pass more often?
Can you like half
when
of that?
He's going to be out there? I mean, that would be incredible. Maybe more than half of the rebounds, but everything else would be great. I just think the way he's playing, it's a lot more sustainable for him in the Bucks, even in a smaller role. I also think defensively, like, he forced a jump ball. Like, he's been bringing the ball up sometimes, which has been mixed results in the past. I actually think they should have gone to it more at the end of the Brooklyn game. Like, Khris was just having a real hard time against Ben Simmons and Nick Claxton. I was like, maybe just let Big Bob bring it up and let him do his thing a little bit more.
Every time it happens, I get nervous.
I know, me too. He gets real excited too. He dribbles it out in front of him, like he's really going for it as well.
Yeah, because it's like one of the hallmarks of Bobby Portis that we don't really talk about is he's really fast for his size.
Yeah.
So fast for his size. And it actually works in the open court where it's like, as long as there's not like some Jose Alvarado back there, you're going to be able to at least cross the timeline.
We had like 2 years ago, I think we had the same thing start to happen, and they had to rein it in because he was turning the ball over too much. It feels like he's gotten a little better at like cross the timeline and then kind of wait and size up the floor a little bit more. Like, I feel like he's not dribbling himself into trouble as often. And again, I think it comes from that mentality is a little different. Like, he looks like he's looking to pass more. I think about 2 years ago, whenever he was doing this, he would try to dribble up and get himself right into a shot. It does feel like he's more like, even when he's, going point Bobby, like, let me get myself to 35 feet and then find a play. I think the Bucks DHO-centric offense, it works well for him. He and Brook, like, they get good shots out of it, and they, you see, like, they fake it now and then do it. I don't want to take this for granted because I feel like the Bucks used to. I mean, I know it was like kind of an overblown meme, but they didn't run a lot of actions. They run a lot now. Like, they are faking DHOs, running DHOs, pick and pop, pick and roll all the time. And I think Bobby has really embraced that, the way the bigs move in this offense, and I think it's good for him, and it leans into how he wants to play.
Yeah, there's a lot more. They're a lot more reliant on screens on this team, and it's a little bit of a product of the age of this team and like the mobility and athleticism of this team with the player we're going to talk about in a little bit.
Yeah,
but it does work to the Bucks' advantage when they get guys where they want to be. Like you mentioned, Bobby Portis bringing the ball up the court. He immediately tries to find a guard so he can get set up in post position, like off a DHO. And it works out. Like, it works out for him. It works out for Brook. It works out for Khris. Like, just being able to get these guys set up to where they want to be instead of trying to ISO dribble their way to their spots. Just make it easy. Just give the ball up, get to your spot, and then get the ball. It's the simple things that really, really work. Not everyone on this team is Giannis. And I think that sometimes they think they are.
Bobby Prince, we will talk about you.
Yes, we will.
He thinks he's LeBron lately. I don't know what's going on, dude.
That cup championship has acted different.
Yeah.
Really different.
Cup championships.
That's true. Yeah.
He's like, I won 2 cups. I've never lost a cup game. I think I can take on 2 defenders at once.
He's doing the Jason Kidd in the Bucks. He walks into the locker room. How many people have 2 NBA Cup titles? Just me and Darvin? Okay, cool. So you're listening to me now.
Yeah. That's what's been going on lately.
What a horrible way to set the tone from Jason Kidd, by the way. Didn't work. Horrible. Horrible.
Let's I don't want to. We have so much fun to talk about. Yeah. Let's limit the J Kidd talk.
But Yeah, just being able to get set up in good spots for your guys has been really, really important for this Bucks offense, and it's been working wonders. And you're right, we should have started this podcast talking about Bobby Portis because he deserves his flowers. He's been playing really, really well. He's been scoring at a high clip. His hands are so active on defense. You forget how quick his hands are. And it honestly makes me a little upset that he doesn't just put in that effort all the time. It's like, you can do it. You have skills. Like you're never going to be a good defender. He's not. He's never going to be a good defender. Can he be a disruptive player on the defensive end? Can you try? Can you take some quick swipes at the ball? Like read these guys. Like he can do it. Just do it every possession, man. Or at least every other possession.
He clearly had to stop himself from going absolutely berserk when he forced that jump against second half against the Nets. Like they zoomed in on his face after, and it almost it quivered a little, like he wanted to immediately start drawing, but he managed not to. I've come around on how much he talks trash. I'm becoming a big, as long as he, you got to walk the. I think he's walked the line well in these 3 games of not picking up a bunch of technicals, but also aggravating the other team. That and he hammered home a dunk, I think, on a nice feed from AJ Green, and I was like, where did this come from? What? You maybe just do that all the time, Bob? Maybe just slam him home more often when you have the space around the rim? I don't know, but he's playing inspired right now, and to your point, it is on both ends. It's feeding into his defense and helping him there too. If the Bucks can get this kind of Bobby Portis more often, and again, he's not going to shoot 50, 42, 87 splits the whole time. I'm not saying that, but just the way he's playing, the energy he's bringing, and what he's actually doing, the interactions with his teammates on both ends right now, then your backup big doesn't feel like this huge need like it has. I still think a rim protector would be nice, but the way he's playing right now, I mean, you've got to respect it. I think you've got to reconsider, how you feel about trade deadline stuff and who should be moved with the way he's playing, because a lot of the guys we're talking about bringing in. Robert Williams, obviously a better defender when he's on the court. That's the other thing about Bobby is he's always on the court, which is a huge plus. The highs of Bobby are a lot higher than almost anyone we're talking about in this $11 million range. It's just about how often can you bank on getting there. That's the $1 million question or $12 million question. We'll see. But I certainly think after this last week of ball, even knowing this is not the context that we're planning for or we're building for, right? We're not trying to win games without Giannis or Dame. We're hoping to win games with them. Still, I think you've got to double reconsider, we got to dump this guy by the deadline, because clearly the plus player is still in there.
Yeah, 100%. I think there's still some conversations to be had, right? You need to take in that context of how does this translate with Giannis and Dame. So hopefully they're back soon so we can get an extended sample of this pre-trade deadline. But he's showing all the right signs, right? I think the start of the season was bad. It was really bad. But he's been slowly working his way up. He's been building up more cachet. It's been a lot of goodwill towards Bobby Portis, especially from us who have been very critical of him for good reason. We're going to be critical when he sucks, but we're going to give him his flowers when he's good. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. He's been bad at times, early on in the season, but he has been trending in a direction which I also agree makes it less and less likely that you're going to find a higher upside player in that $12 million range.
Yeah. Let's talk about your guy, Ryan Rollins. My guy, too.
I was going to say, he's more your guy.
Because you brought him up earlier to talk about. Really good run again from him.
Here's the question. I think this will really show our discussion. When's he getting converted? It's happening, right?
When some sucker takes on DeLon Wright for free.
Or Marjan.
I hope it's DeLon Wright.
Yeah.
I've had enough. You've been the rational DeLon Wright defender. I'm done. He's afraid of the basketball. He's afraid of the basketball, Rohan.
He is.
I can't do this anymore. The backup point guard cannot be afraid of the basketball.
The thing about DeLon Wright is if Ryan Rollins gets converted, hopefully Ryan Rollins gets converted.
I mean, if he's again, quote unquote healthy, like you can still see the shoulder bothers him sometimes. He's made the decision to play through it.
He's going up for dunks though, which has been very
I mean, he's
encouraging.
His burst, his shot looks really good. He's shot 38% from three this week. What were you going to say when Ryan Rollins gets converted?
Would you having DeLon Wright be available in like a break glass in case of emergency, and then if that emergency fails, then you go to DeLon Wright, uh, is more valuable than what Marjan brings to the team.
I hope we see Marjan this week. Let's find out. I think you're right. I don't know.
Like they've already not picked up his option.
Well, it depends. Well, yeah, Marjan's a separate thing. The interesting question to me, I think Marjan's probably going to be gone, is Pat or DeLon, right? And I think it probably just depends what you feel like you need more of, ball handling or defense.
It's also much easier to get rid of DeLon than Pat.
Yeah, and there's just like
DeLon's on a minimum contract. Pat's making 10 mil.
Yeah, 9 and an 8 next year, which is really the holdup for him. Also, like he just has more like locker room cachet. You know, Pat's been here for years. Pat was here for the title. Like, just a more important figure. I imagine.
Has Pat been better than DeLon this year?
I think so.
I think so.
I think so. I mean, his defense is kind of disastrous, but I think you can almost hide that better than offense.
I think was it you who tweeted that if you just combine both of them, they'd be a great player for the Bucks?
Yeah, I mean, I guess if you combine their strengths, if you combine only their weaknesses, it would be the worst player in the league. But if you combine the ball,
what if you weren't good at anything?
Yeah, the problem is neither of them is shooting all that well. If Pat was like a good 3-point shooter
Pat will
again,
shoot though.
He will shoot. Yeah, he doesn't. He actually, I think he knocked one down. Was it the Cup game or right before? Like like the shot still looks good.
Meanwhile, in the Brooklyn game, DeLon Wright airballed 2 3-pointers in a row.
He only took 3 total shots. They were all threes. He didn't look like he wanted to take any of them. Like he got 5 assists. He had 5 assists in the game, and I was shocked. And I think it's all like he gets the ball and just dumps it to someone else immediately, and that's how he got. Because I'm like, you're not breaking down defenses. Because he's also, it's not just that he's afraid to shoot, he's also afraid to dribble into pressure. He makes Andre Jackson Jr. look like Russell Westbrook tendency-wise out there, which is just crazy. I mean, we're talking about everyone but Ryan Rollins. We'll get back to Rollins. Real quick on Ajax, the defense continues to be very good. I think Doc should consider playing him more in second halves than he has been.
Like the fourth quarter of the Brooklyn game, maybe?
Yeah, I think he should get, I mean, he didn't play too many crazy other options, but I think Ajax should get more. I think he's earned it. I really like what he's doing offensively. Like when he sees any room in like semi-transition or even in half court, he's gotten some really impressive finishes. I wonder if part of the reason he got yanked was he tried one that was a little too crazy, even for me, even wanting to see Ajax be aggressive, like that behind the back. I like just do something a little simpler, maybe Ajax. But I like the thought from him, and he is, he's scoring 5.7 points per game in this stretch, which isn't a ton, but it feels like he's shooting more and he's picking good spots for it.
Yeah, he's been more aggressive for sure, getting to the basket, and he's been picking his shots. He's been not taking as many threes, which is really interesting.
Yeah,
and he's been taking more shots in the paint than he has been from 3, which is good for Ajax. Just like finish, that'd be good. He's taking advantage of teams just like completely disrespecting him and not even like it takes a special type of NBA player for when you are right next to the hoop that the other team doesn't care. He is one of them. And he's making them pay for that a little bit more recently. He's getting almost like the Ben Simmons treatment.
Yeah, I think it's crucial for him short and long term for him and the Bucks. Like continue finding the counters, whether it's just going to the rim or he's made some nice dump off passes too. He's still a good passer. He's shooting 50% from 2 and 3 this week, so good percentages overall, but can clean up, I think, and make himself more useful around the rim. But I like that he's making positive strides. He feels like you have to guard him a little more than you did like 2 weeks ago, and that's good. There's still a lot of room to go, but I like the way he's moving. But Rollins, on the other hand, I like a diamond in the rough. I've called him a revelation in our Discord before. Like, I don't know what he can't do. I think he struggled against ball pressure like everyone else did in the Brooklyn game. I think that's fine. Like, I don't think, again, this is another player. He is starting right now. Ryan Rollins does not have to be the Bucks' starting point guard. They need him, realistically, if he gets converted, like his down the season playoff role is what? 8 minutes a game when
I was
Dame
gonna
isn't
say
playing.
like 8 minutes a game.
Like that's when they and Giannis
And
probably plays those minutes.
It might not even be that much because
It
it's
might
like
not be that much, and you're gonna have Giannis and or Khris out there too.
exactly.
Like, you never need him to be the primary point guard as much as you do right now. So I'm not that concerned that he's not able to be a starting point guard all week. That's fine. He still has shot 47% from the field, 38% from three, averaging 4 rebounds, 2 assists, 3 turnovers. Again, a little high. A lot of that was Brooklyn. Also 2 steals per game and 0.7 blocks per game. He is a disruptive defender. He is a good 3-point shooter. He's a good driver. He's athletic. He can dunk off the dribble, which not that many Bucks players can dunk off the dribble. Might just be him, Giannis, and Dame.
Yeah.
I can't think of a single. I mean, I guess Ajax, if there's no one between him and the hoop.
I guess. But have we seen it?
We saw a nasty putback.
Oh my God.
Against Brooklyn. That was fun.
It's fun when he gets it because he tries it every possession.
Yeah.
And it's fun when he gets it.
It is. But Rollins, his skill set's just really impressive. Again, like immense ball pressure. He might struggle. I'm not that worried about that. I think he just needs to be a fill in the gaps guy, and I think he's going to start pushing these other young Bucks for minutes too. Clearly he's above DeLon right now. He should be. I think he may even start to push AJ Green and Ajax a little bit just because he overlaps with them a bit as well. But he's just I'd say more complete player than either of those two.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's not as good at shooting obviously as AJ. He's not as good at defense as Ajax, but I think he just fills in a lot of gaps. And of course, is the true point guard out of the 3 of them, which is why he's getting this run right now.
He's like a jack of all trades, master of none. I don't even know. He's a more complete player. I don't know if he's not a better player.
No, I don't think he's better. I mean, I think him versus Ajax is starting to become pretty interesting. I give AJ Green the edge because I think he's just. I think what he does offensively is just really valuable, even though he's been in a slump this week. But I think Rollins versus Ajax is becoming a little interesting.
It is, and we especially saw that during the Brooklyn game, right? Like you don't see Ajax play in that entire fourth quarter.
Yeah.
And you see Ryan Rollins start to really like be able to be there when it's closing time. But it's getting close. I still think Ajax is more valuable, but in the context of this team being healthy, I will say.
Yeah.
Like again, his role is going to be much larger than Ryan Rollins' role when the team is fully healthy. But it is interesting. It's going to be something to monitor going forward because on its face, I want to say no, of course not. It's Ajax, but then it's like you might be onto something. I'm gonna put a pin in that. I'm gonna keep watching that going forward.
Yeah, I am too. I don't mean to be definitive about it. I just think what Rollins is doing on both ends, and not just like a good offensive player, a good enough like an actual point guard too. Although again, he looked a little overtaxed against Brooklyn. Like that's a very valuable skill set. And I hope he does get converted, and I hope it's another one of these like 3-4 year deals where the Bucks can just keep him in the building going forward, like they are with Ajax and with AJ Green.
It'll be a steal.
Yeah, there you go. But I mean, this is how you extend the timeline, right? I mean, you look at Ajax for this in 2 more years, AJ Green for this and another year, like. That is just massive to have potentially 3 rotation players making. And, I'm not happy that they're not making a lot, but I think all of these players are going to be able to cash in, whether it's from the Bucks or someone else,
they were also
after
these
first deals. Yeah, it's a lot of money versus me.
Yes.
I'm not picking up the check if I go out to lunch with these guys, that's for sure.
Hey, maybe we'll take them out to lunch. You and I will split it. How about that?
Panera. That's a good point. That's a good point. I'm sitting here like my bleeding heart for this guy making $1.8 million or whatever it is. Poor you. Just got a $500,000 bonus. But it is.
Relative.
Relative.
Yes.
I think that's the thing. Like the cup, I was doing the math, and like it's like a 30-some% or whatever raise for Ajax this year. I started on the cup game and did great work against Shea. Like, that's really cool. And people are like, yeah, it's great for, Prince and DeLon Wright and Gary Trent as well. And it is. Those guys have also made.
It helps you sign these types of players though, because
Yeah.
it's like you can get those types of bonuses.
But also, I mean, those guys have cleared 50 mil in their career, all three of them. So, you hope the 500K isn't as life changing for them. But
Has Prince cleared 50
still cool.
mil?
They've all cleared. I looked it up. They've all cleared 50 mil.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wait, Prince, Trent? Yeah, because Trent got that big contract early.
Yeah, from Toronto.
Yeah.
Wright was the one I wasn't sure about, but he's been around for a while. He is also. I think he had like a 4.32 at one point that got him there.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's 54.
I know, right?
Yeah, the Wizard, he got 16 mil from the Wizards. Just on his own.
He might be getting another 2 mil from the Wizards by early February here. Because I think the Bucks are going to be looking certainly MarJon.
What do you think? Yeah, I was going to say what seriously? What do you think is the most likely outcome?
I wouldn't surprise me if both got moved because I could see there being a world where, like, I think MarJon. I just don't know if someone will take him for free. I think there could be a team. Like
MarJon,
the Bucks,
who switched his agents, by the way.
Yeah, it's very, very interesting.
He's no longer a Clutch client. He's now with Wasserman.
Yeah. Clutch did not get him the result he wanted, clearly. Maybe a team sells himself on Wright, kind of like the Bucks did with Pat Bev last year. Like, will they play musical chairs and send him out somewhere to someone else who needs a backup point guard? Like if there's an injury or something, maybe. I think there's probably more chance of that than a team saying the same with MarJon. And then maybe from the Bucks, from the DeLon Wright side, maybe it's like you're seen as doing him a solid, Like when they gave away Torrey Craig, that kind of deal. Like, oh, this team actually wants to play you. Like, how about you go there and we'll take $500K back or whatever it is. So I think Wright being moved is maybe even more likely just because here's the thing. Bucks have I think 2 second-round picks they can trade. So if it's costing you 1 or 2 second-round picks just to get rid of a guy, you then don't really have any assets left to trade for a player. And I think we know the Bucks are they want to compete every year as much as possible. I think they would like to add a player more than just pay to get rid of a player.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
So but I think also, if asset-wise...
You could also just cut him.
Yeah, but
that's just eating. That's if you're already in the second apron, though, does that really matter?
Well, yeah, because
Papa Jimbo likes to pay.
That is an option, if you buy out a MarJon and then, the thing is you double up.
Just don't stretch him.
No, you can't.
That'd be
can't.
stupid.
Although, actually, they might stretch him because they could potentially have a much lower payroll next year.
Yeah. But it's you don't want to stretch such a low salary.
No, it's just a 1 less million to play with versus all the caps and everything than you would have. It's never good. You'd prefer to just I think they'll find a trade for at least one of those players. I think Rollins is the most likely addition. We haven't talked Dennis Smith Jr. now is on the herd. That doesn't really actually open
Jack
up.
Golke too.
Yeah, that's a little less exciting from the Bucks' perspective, but I'm excited to watch him. I don't know. Would you want to add Dennis Smith Jr. right now, or would you rather just add Rollins, who's played so well and shoots the ball, which is kind of not a Dennis Smith Jr. thing? I think that's a real conversation.
It is. I think it is a real conversation. I'd like to see what Dennis Smith Jr. can do. See, that's the thing. This is where it's you trade or cut both DeLon and MarJon.
Yeah.
Or just one for now and give Dennis Smith Jr. a 10-day when 10 days become eligible.
Yeah, next month in January, I believe.
And then you can have a little bit of you can see both of them. But I think Ryan Rollins has built up enough sort of goodwill with the org and through his play where it's it's kind of tough, especially when he's already under contract. I do think this is speaking as someone who loves Dennis Smith Jr., right?
Yeah.
I just need to see it.
Yeah. See how he plays with the herd as well. It doesn't give them a easier avenue to sign him, but at least they will. Obviously, they're in the building with him. They're seeing how he's playing in practice and in games, and they'll know. But I'd say right now Rollins is at least making a case that we have Dennis Smith Jr. at home, so to speak.
Yeah. It's going to be really interesting to see what they do. Do you think he's going to play with the herd, right?
I believe so. It took him a while to get officially added, I think, but he is now, so he should be around. But he did not play with them at the showcase, so kind of a missed opportunity there. I think he did do workouts. Maybe that's why he wasn't able to. He was doing some NBA team workouts, but he is now a herd player, so I would assume we do see him at some point.
Yeah, hopefully soon, so we can get some tape.
Yeah, we need some more
Buck system.
We need some more tape on Dennis Smith Jr. We need some more tape on Prize Picks. We're going to keep playing Prize Picks, our favorite and America's favorite daily fantasy sports app with more than 10 million members, where all you do is pick more or less on at least 2 players for a shot to win up to 1,000 times your cash. You can run your game all season long. I had a fun Christmas Day play that I did not win, but I did have fun with.
Ooh.
I sprinkled in basketball and football because, of course, football invaded Christmas Day. So I did. I picked this tip from you, Rohan.
Ooh.
Second half, Chris Paul, more than 4.5 points. It's fun because I'm sitting there watching the first half of Spurs Knicks going, they're really letting Chris Paul walk into shots. Yeah, I think he can hit a couple of shots. He had 7. So that was a hit. That was a more than hit. Pat Fryermuth, 35.5 receiving yards, more than. He had 60 for the Steelers, so that was good. Travis Kelce, more than 32.5 receiving yards. Little double dip on tight end yards there. He had 84, so that was an easy one. Here's some heartbreakers, though. Mike Williams, more than 16.5 receiving yards. He had a 22-yard catch that they moved up like they were going to snap it. It got overturned before they could snap it, and he didn't catch the ball again. So that hurt. Didn't end up feeling too bad, though, because I also had DeAndre Hopkins more than half a rushing plus receiving touchdown. So I needed 1. They threw to him in the end zone. He couldn't bring it down. And then a couple other touchdowns for KC. I was like, yeah, he's probably not going to go back to him again. They didn't. And then Klay Thompson, more than 13.5 points. I saw Luka go out. I thought, oh, for sure, Klay's going to do this on Christmas. Ended with 12. So close, but no cigar for Klay. So ended up not even getting all that close, although it was an exciting start. But that's the fun of Prize Picks, Got some games on, no Bucks on. So I thought, you know what, let me take more interest in the rest of these games.
It was fun because yesterday was a terrible Thursday night football game. However,
yes,
still got to play some Prize Picks and got a good win out of it.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, we had a 3-pick play here. We had
nice.
Caleb Williams, 11.5 yards for longest rush.
Oh.
He ended with 16.
That's fun.
That's right.
Nice.
Jason Myers, 1.5 field goals made. Got it.
Ooh.
The Seahawks offense just gives me trouble, and especially with Geno in the red zone. I don't know what his mind turns into.
Yeah.
So I was like, yeah, that's good. Ended up being 2, so that was good.
Oh, there you go.
Then former Packer Jaron Reed, demon time.
Wow.
Quarter sack. I was like, he can at least get half. The Bears' offensive line is horrible.
That's a good call.
He had a sack. He had a full sack.
Look at you. That's a great play, Rohan.
Yeah, I was trying my best.
Well, folks, you can hear how fun this is. Download the Prize Picks app today. Click the link in our description, or just go to your app store, type in Prize Picks, and then when you get it, use code BLUEWIRE. Use code EUROSTEP to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code EUROSTEP. Although the Blue Wire one, it will work too. But, help us out. Give Eurostep some love. Prize Picks, run your game. We should probably talk about Khris Middleton, who played both ends of a back-to-back. You're saying it like, oh, bad Khris Middleton. He had a bad turnover game against Brooklyn. We have talked about, though, now that you have Dame and you have Giannis, normally, you don't need him to do all this ball handling. Clearly, he was overtaxed, and Brooklyn took advantage of him. That sucked. Still, I think over these 3 games, up to 24.5 minutes per game. I think he was over 26 in the Brooklyn game. Officially scoring exactly 20 points per game in that stretch. So bringing up just the raw production numbers. Shot 57% from the field, 58% from 3. So has finally broken out of the shooting slump and did average 6 assists and 5 rebounds despite, again, the high 4 turnovers per game. But still, I think it is a big deal to see Khris be a 25-6 guy on really good shooting again, I think that bodes very well for the Bucks when they get Dame and Giannis back and they can ask him to do less with the ball in his hands against set defenses. But we're seeing Khris dial in and be able to make those tough shots that we know, stay out there, play more, play both ends of a back-to-back. And, I think had some bad-looking moments, obviously, against Brooklyn. To me, though, it didn't feel like, Khris is, unable to play his minutes or anything. It's just these are things Khris has kind of always struggled with, and they continue to hamper him.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I think it's just it looks like these problems are exacerbated. One, by the having no Giannis and Dame, and two, just old and surgery.
Yeah,
it's it makes it look worse. But I shouldn't start off talking about Khris like this because he did have some very productive games in this stretch. He's looking more and more like the Khris Middleton that we've seen in the past. He's looking more like himself. He's looking better than he did early on. His shooting percentages are getting up there. He in that Nets game, he just caught fire at the end, and he's capable of going on massive runs on it by himself. What was that during the Bulls game? He went on a 10-0 run by himself, or something like that.
Is it 10 or 8? Yeah,
we're seeing some vintage Khris Middleton flashes, and at this point, that's all you need. You just need those flashes. You don't need him to score 40 on 2 bad ankles in the playoffs. You don't.
You hope you don't.
Yeah, you need Giannis and Dame to play. You need them to be able to score 40 on healthy legs, knock on wood. That's what you need to see. You need to be able to see Khris Middleton. Can you do things when the defense is loaded up towards Dame and Giannis? That's what we want to see. And he's capable of doing those things. That's the good things. He's still dishing out the ball too. He's co-leading the Bucks in assists during this stretch. It's been a good stretch of him playmaking, being that guy. Can he operate as a tertiary playmaker? Yeah. Can he be a secondary playmaker when either Giannis or Dame are resting? Yeah, he can be that. Can he shoot the ball? It's looking more and more likely that he's back. It's very encouraging. I agree. Those problems are exacerbated, and it's the same sort of problems, but you just need to play to his strengths.
Yeah. Overall, I think there's been a lot of good, even with some bad signs for Khris. And again, I'm just really excited to see how the Bucks look when he is able to play with the whole team, because I think he is looking to me like a player who can give you smart defense and something around 18, 20, 5-5, something like that. 18 to 20, 5-5 on good shooting, which we've seen in the brief times they've all played together. That plus what Dame and Giannis can do has made the Bucks nearly unbeatable. So I think it's a silver lining for me. And I think overall, Khris, has played well in this stretch. Also, got to give love to Brook Lopez, who took the solo possession of the 20th spot in the NBA in all-time block shots on a night where against Brooklyn, I should say, in Milwaukee, where he fittingly also knocked down a bunch of threes and scored 20 points. What a player. Also, again, we've talked about this in the past, always steps up when they need it scoring-wise. That game, the scoring was loud. Overall, he has averaged 18 points in these 3 games without either Dame or Giannis, literally every time. We have big guys out. I'm just going to be a nearly 20-point per game scorer this week.
Always steps
up. Awesome to see that from him. He's caught fire from 3, shooting 56% from 3 in that stretch. Has not missed a free throw this week. I just think he's continuing to play well. Looks really good defensively to me too. I think he kind of, 2 weeks ago, kind of had that little slide we were worried about. He looks like great Brook Lopez again, which is a huge relief to see.
100%. You're seeing Brook Lopez. There was stretches in that Brooklyn game where he's hitting threes. He's doing Giannis alley-oop blocks, and it's oh man, this dude can move. He always steps up. He always picks his spots. You don't need him to do this again in the context of Dame and Giannis being healthy, especially Giannis for Brook. Brook's role. It'd be fun to see Dame try to do one of those alley-oop blocks.
He hit that block. What was that against OKC to close it out? Not a true alley-oop, but remember he got up and denied the ball?
He did. Yeah. He did. He can get up.
He could do that once a month.
Here's the thing. I have a question. Is it illegal for Brook Lopez to grab Dame and hoist him up to block a shot?
I don't think so. I think Dame would probably file suit, and in that sense maybe be civil but not criminal. Illegal.
But it's like I think the issue is you wouldn't be able to do it fast enough, right?
Yeah. I think you'd have to. I mean, you'd probably hurt him.
Wait. Here's the thing. Okay, so let's say this is bad. I don't know why I'm doing this.
You love these little rule combos.
What if there's the game is tied or you're up one or whatever, and the other team has the ball with like 0.3 seconds left, where you can't get a catch and shoot, you can only get a lob to the rim. What is preventing like? What is preventing Brook from just holding Dame up at one side of the basket and Giannis from holding like Ryan Rollins up?
The same thing that prevents Giannis from taking one-handed or underhanded free throws. Pride.
Like, why has no one ever done that?
Also, I mean, like the injury risk is probably pretty high.
You just have to hold him up there.
Like what? Like play chicken with him?
Yeah, you just hold him up for like 5 seconds.
Yeah, but imagine you drop him.
Yeah, but that's like a risk you have to take, you know?
That's a big risk.
You're not gonna like. Do you think Brook?
What if you hit the rim with his head?
No, no, they're gonna be way above the rim.
Well, on the way down, I'm saying.
Oh, just be careful. Practice.
I don't think they want to practice that. I don't think.
But I'm saying, why is no one? Am I the crazy one, or why has no one ever thought of that?
Well, also, I mean, like if you're the defender, you'd probably have time to pick up your own little guy if you saw that happening.
But you wouldn't expect it, right?
I don't know. I mean, I think players are pretty smart. Say, oh, they're doing the chicken play. Come here. I don't know who on the Nets is. Keon Johnson. Come here. Uppies.
But like, do you understand what I'm saying? That like just block off the rim. I mean, it'll take 4 of your guys, but just do that.
I feel like there'd be a pretty high likelihood of a foul getting called.
No, but you're straight up.
I don't know if that counts as straight up.
Why not?
Well, because you're like, yeah, I wonder if it is actually against the rules.
Because someone has to have tried that, right?
I doubt it.
Or has thought of it, sorry.
I don't know if they have.
We should go on. We should do a Q&A with the NBA referees YouTube channel, which is apparently a thing.
Oh God, I don't want to do that. I don't want to. We don't need to give any more light to the NBA referees who already think they're the star of the show.
Yeah, that's fair. What a weird thing that they have a YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Shout out to Jason Gallagher
and their Twitter account. Or again, maybe not.
The Twitter account is better than the YouTube channel.
I'm not going to pay much attention to either.
The YouTube channel is what? Have you seen this?
Yeah, briefly.
Yeah, it's crazy. Shouldn't be a thing. But all I'm saying is NBA refs, if you're listening, chime in and tell me if that's legal.
I wonder if there's just like some simple, like you can't pick up players rule to get rid of that.
But the Globetrotters do it. That's a joke.
Yeah.
What were we talking about? Brook Lopez.
Yeah, Brook Lopez had a good week, is what I was saying, and then you jumped in here with this.
Well, it's a valid question.
Is it?
These are the things that go on in my head.
What are you going to talk about next? Player, not obscure rule idea.
AJ Green.
Yeah, bad time for a shooting slump.
Bad time for a shooting slump, and also like Doc called him out post-game.
Yeah, for the not going under against Ben Simmons, Cam Johnson,
and switching.
Right? Yeah.
Against Cam, it was the 4-point play with Cam Johnson that put him up 7, I think, with like under a minute left. Where it was a Cam Johnson, Ben Simmons pick and roll, and Bobby went over to try to get Ben Simmons, and you try to go under Ben Simmons, and you don't switch that. Sorry, Bobby went under like he was supposed to, and you don't switch it like AJ was supposed to go over, and he didn't. And post game, here, let me pull up the exact quote. But he mentioned that it should have been a switch, and
it shouldn't have been.
It shouldn't have been a switch. Sorry.
So AJ Green calls for a switch. Bobby doesn't switch, which I blamed Bobby in real time in our Discord, saying Bobby has to switch that. Doc, after the game, this is why it's valuable to hear from players and coaches after the game.
Yeah, Doc said, this is via Eric Name. He said, it was a switch that we shouldn't have switched. We hadn't switched that all night. Whenever Ben had the ball, the guy guarding Ben was supposed to just go under. That's what Bobby was doing. The guy guarding Cam decided to switch. Which is AJ Green.
AJ, yeah.
And I think it's very funny that he said the guy guarding Cam.
Yeah. Usually he just
like
says
there's film.
Yeah. Interesting decision from Doc there. overall, I thought AJ had a good defensive game. Obviously, didn't necessarily do the right thing there, but mistakes do happen. And I don't know. I'm not too worried about him. It sucks that his shot isn't going in. The Bucks could really use it more than ever in a week like this without Dame or Giannis. But again, they still won 2 of the games. I think he's still been a relatively positive player. He's still a good passer. He's at 3.7 assists per game, which is actually 3rd on the team. That's as many per game as DeLon Wright, tied for 3rd on the team. Or I guess would you call that tied for 2nd? 2 guys have 6, and then he has 3.7.
He's 3rd.
He's 3rd, tied for 3rd. Yeah, I never know how that works with because DeLon also has 3.7. So there's 2 guys with 6 and then 2 guys with 3.7. It's a little confusing.
That is confusing.
Whatever.
What do you do?
He's up there in assists. He's a technical term. He's up there on the Bucks in assists this last week.
Yes, I think it's been a solid game stretch. Not to just point out the deficiencies right away.
Funny thing is, Doc really trusts him too.
Oh yeah, he left him out there like a lot at the end of the 4th quarter.
I was surprised Gary didn't play more because he was red hot. He has generally been hot. This is not as confusing. He is 4th on the Bucks in scoring this week. No ties for the points there.
Yeah, AJ Green plays the entire 4th quarter against the Nets along with Brook Lopez, and he makes one of his shots. He doesn't get a ton of credit for what he's doing out there. It's like the shooting slump is tough, right?
Yeah.
But defensively, I think he's still been fairly good to great for this team defensively. They're still getting some like ticky-tack fouls called on him, but sometimes the refs are giving him a little more respect, which is good.
He's actually only averaged 1 foul per game in these 3 games, so he's cleaned that up quite a bit, which has been nice. And yeah, he's drawn some offensive fouls, which is really nice. And I agree. I think his defense is still quite good. Again, he blew a play. It happens. That doesn't invalidate everything else he's doing on the defensive end. And clearly, I think that end is where Doc has really bought into trusting him. That and the thing about AJ is he's shooting 27% from 3 of these 3 games. I mean, I don't think there's a single point during any of those games where you're not thinking his next shot is going to go in, right? Like, he does not change the way he plays. He does not stop taking sometimes audacious shots. And I think that is what gets him runway that Ajax doesn't always have, is he is unflappable even when the shot is not going in.
Yeah, it's always like you feel confident that, that shot is going to go in whenever he shoots the ball.
It seems like he does too.
Yes.
Speaking of Gary Trent Jr., just on fire lately.
I know, right? And here's the thing about Gary that I've really loved, is he's not just taking catch and shoot threes, right?
Yeah.
There's a lot more nuance to what he's doing now, especially in these games where Dame and Giannis aren't there. He feels like it feels like he has more of a green light out there to do what he wants offensively. Like he's taking some turning middies. He's really creating his own shot, doing some ISO work, and it's going really, really well for him. His shooting has just miraculously come back after a horrid start to the season. And I think a reduced role and him being able to play more freely within this offense has really, really, really done wonders for him on this team. And defensively, he's trying, man. He's trying out there. He's diving for loose ball. He's forcing inbounds violations, which is crazy.
He's averaging 2 steals per game in this stretch, which is a lot. That's a good impact defensively.
It's been a really good stretch for Gary. I mean, I still think he has his flaws defensively at times. He can be a little shaky offensively sometimes, but I think generally, I think he's been great. Yeah.
He's become more of a play finisher for them. Like, he was someone we thought hopefully he could handle the ball a little bit. That I don't think has worked well. Like, has 2 assists, I think, in these 3 games total. Like, has not been a playmaking hub, but he has been someone where, they can give him the ball when these lineups are a little offensively challenged, and he'll just go get himself at least a decent shot. Has made some tough shots, shooting 50% from 3 this week, 47% from the field. So I think his shot making has been important, and I agree. Sometimes his screen navigation leaves a lot to be desired, and he'll get left behind, but sometimes he'll hang in there and really force tough shots or force turnovers. So I think the Bucks have him in the right role right now. Like, I'm glad that, given the way he struggled as a starter, I'm actually glad they've resisted putting him in the starting lineup again, keeping him in this bench spark plug role, which really does seem like his best fit on the Bucks. So yeah, excited about that. Unfortunately, former starter Taurean Prince is not taking to the bench very well.
Maybe they should still be starting.
Maybe they have to. 23% from three. So this was always going to happen. I mean, I don't actually.
He
have
wasn't going to be the greatest 3-point shooter in NBA history, Ty. That wasn't gonna stay.
When you start off shooting like 56%, there's unfortunately literally nowhere to go but down based on how. I mean, every 3-point shooting season ever, even like Stephen Curry's, don't end up that high.
What's the high? It's Kerr at like 50, right?
I think so. And that's, what was he maybe taking 2 per game? Like it was a different world when he did that. In the high volume era, I wonder what the highest ever is. Probably a Steph Curry season. And Taurean Prince, newsflash, is not Steph Curry. What I really haven't liked about his game is I don't know who told him.
Heck is going on with Google? Sorry. But it's like I Googled best 3-point percentage season in NBA history, and the first thing that pops up, Nikola Jokic for the Nuggets. That's just not true.
This year. He's leading the league this year, actually.
No, that is true, but I'm saying in NBA history.
I wonder if they're counting it as a full season. Yeah, Google sucks now.
It's actually Kyle Korver at 53.64% for the 9-10 season, and then it's Kerr, then Legler, then what was2.1.
Yeah, so just
for Kyle Korver.
a different world back then.
Steve Kerr was at also 2.1. Yeah, just completely different world. Sorry, Taurean Prince.
Yeah, he had some nice drives where a hard closeout on him at the line because he has been shooting so well, and he was getting to take basically open bank shots or open layups, and that I think is very good and valuable thing is to know when to put the ball down and drive. I think partially he got a little overconfident in that. Partially he thinks he has to do more because Dame and Giannis are out. Maybe partially because his 3-ball isn't falling as much. He has had some really ill-advised drives to the basket where he is going through heavy traffic and trying to finish over or through 2 players. It's just that is not your game. That is not what you are here to do. I don't care who is out. That is not what I want to see Taurean Prince doing. So I think, you hope the shot comes back a little bit, and he was due to have some bad games, and that is what it is. But I think his decision-making could stand to be improved as well lately.
Yeah, I think just the decision-making, right? Just who do you think you are? We were joking earlier, not everyone on this team is Giannis, and Taurean Prince is probably a guy who needs to hear that a lot. Just the one shot against the Nets that ended up at the top of the backboard, I'm like, that should be a lesson. That should be an ultimate lesson. I will say I appreciate that he is trying to really diversify his offensive game, which has just been standstill catching 3-point shots for his Bucks tenure, which is great. He's been great at it. Don't get me wrong. That's
an important thing.
But maybe start slower. Maybe drive and shoot a mid-range shot or something like that. Because the rim finishing just isn't there.
It needs to be more open, and there's just less space for everyone. I think that's part of this too with him and AJ Green. AJ Green's worst shooting slumps as a Buck were this past week and the playoffs. And what do those 2 things have in common? No Giannis. I think that is probably a bigger deal than it's been. I spoke about as AJ Green, I think, is a player, and Dame too. But the one thing fully in common with those 2 parts of the season, no Giannis. I think both AJ Green and Taurean Prince feed off Giannis in a very beneficial way for them. So hopefully you get the big fella back, you get Dame back, and these 2 can both have to do a little less and see those shot percentages go back up. But also, shooters have slumps. There's also just some variance in there. But I do think for AJ in particular, that's very interesting. And if we get a healthy playoffs, I'm going to be very eager to see how his shot falls depending on, who they're playing and who is out there with him.
Yeah, I think so. It's just he's a star in his role, and that role has gotten a little too much for him these last couple games, and it's just
even though he's coming off the bench.
Yeah, it's just going to be it's going to be better when Giannis and Dame are out there.
Yeah.
Who else do we need to talk about?
That might be it.
Is that it? Yeah.
That's all 10 players we've seen.
Yeah. I mean, I guess we already did talk about the schedule a bit. It's gonna be a little bit easier for the Bucks. You'd hope that they can win a lot of these games. You hope they should have won the Brooklyn game. That was
Yeah,
horrible.
I mean they had it too. It
Horrible,
hurts.
horrible late game execution. But again, the run had to come to an end. You can't win 3 games in a row without Dame and Giannis, no matter how bad the teams are. Uh, even though
I
the
mean,
Nets
listen,
were
I'll say this. So go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was gonna say, even though the Nets were just severely depleted.
I'm going to say this right now. Bold take. With no back-to-backs coming up, I'm saying they run off 9 straight wins heading into Madison Square Garden Sunday, July 12th.
Ooh, July.
Or January, sorry.
Okay.
That would be a real streak.
Going to Summer League undefeated.
At Bulls, at Pacers, home Nets, home Blazers, at Raptors, home Spurs, at Magic. No back-to-backs in there.
Paolo might be coming back though.
That's true. I mean, that's a hard game.
Yeah, it's a hard game even with Paolo out, as the Bucks saw in the NBA Cup quarterfinals.
Yeah, I mean, now they're without Mo Wagner too. I think it's starting to catch up to them too. Like, I think not easy, but it's easier to play well kind of soon after the injuries. I think it gets hard to sustain it for a team. I think like Jalen Suggs, I believe, had a really rough game against the Heat in their last game, also on Thursday night. We'll see what they're looking like. But I think, regardless, there should be a lot of wins here. And I do think the way they're playing, I think is really good. If you put Giannis and Dame back into it, I do think they're just going to simply outclass most of these teams in this next 2 weeks or so of basketball.
Yeah, in that stretch, do they have the best 2 players on the court in every game?
Yeah, pretty easily.
Yeah.
I mean, Halliburton's the only one in the conversation.
What do you have, 2 points against the Thunder?
Not a great game.
Not a great game at all. What did you think about the? No, I'm not going to go there yet.
I got something to go there. The Jimmy Butler still not rejoined the Heat.
Yeah, I mean, you made Shams has gone on a mission, man.
Yeah,
I saw a
Shams
tweet.
and Bernie Lee are not friendly.
I saw a tweet. I wish I remember who it was, but it said Shams no longer has Woj as a rival, so he just took on the entire Miami Heat organization as a rival.
So if you don't know what's going on, Shams has been posting for weeks now that
It's been like a month, right?
Probably. That, Jimmy's open to a trade and his agent's giving teams, and Jimmy's agent's like, no, I'm not. You're chat GPTing or whatever. And the Heat put out a post on their Twitter, a statement from Pat Riley saying, we are not trading Jimmy Butler. We usually don't address this, whatever. Which, first off, if you have to do that, it's an L. You know what I mean? There's no positive Twitter statement from your GM. I don't think that can happen. And then the very next tweet on the account, which it wasn't right away, it was like hours later, but it was back-to-back tweets. Injury update: Jimmy Butler returned to competition reconditioning, has been ruled out of tonight's game versus the Magic. So the story here is he had the same illness probably. He had a stomach illness, so he's missed time. But he's still, as of today, not rejoined the Heat. His status for this weekend's game against the Hawks in Houston remains up in the air. Barry Jackson at Florida Sports Buzz says latest development and ongoing saga. Heat had expected him to return today.
Dang.
Like, where there's smoke, there's fire.
There's something going on, right?
There's clearly something going on.
The reporting from Shams has been that Jimmy wants the extension. He's mad he didn't get the extension during the summer. He still can sign the extension. He still has not been offered an extension.
Blindsided. It's a new report. He was blindsided by Pat Riley, who basically called him out at Heat Media Day. Remember, said, we need our players to be available. So, and now he's not showing up.
Yeah.
Because he was sick, I guess.
Yeah. Still wants that extension. I think the reporting from Shams has been that he is open to a trade. He hasn't requested a trade.
That to me is like Shams is walking on thin ice because he doesn't want to get called out by this agent again. If you're sharing the teams and you're wearing the colors in your hair of the teams that are coming out that you want to be traded.
Yeah.
That's what that means.
I think it means here's what I think. I think if he was offered the extension, he would sign it.
He would sign it. Yeah, he knows he's not getting it.
But it's like, that's why I'm saying he hasn't requested a trade, because it's like, if he gets the extension, he's signing it.
He shared the list of teams. He dyed his hair those colors, and now he's not showing up.
Here's the thing. How does it feel, Miami? How does it feel?
Suck it.
Suck it.
What a shame. I don't even want him. Suck it. Can't wait to see where he goes.
Yeah. Hopefully West.
Yes. No kidding. I think he almost has to be. I think all the teams are in the West, aren't they?
Yeah. Warriors, Rockets, Mavs, and was it Mavs?
Yeah.
Suns?
Yeah. Very funny stuff. Couldn't happen to a funnier team. And clearly he wants out to me. I think clearly. Because I'm not minimizing, because obviously Giannis Dame missed time with this too. They are on the injury report, like out illness. Return to reconditioning, like that makes it sound like that's what they're putting him on the injury report as, right? Is return to conditioning or whatever. Why wouldn't you do that in the facility if you're not out with illness anymore? Do you know what I mean? Is that not odd? Is that not a little strange? You're not even there?
It is strange.
They're not saying he's sick. They're saying he is conditioning. Where else would you condition but the team facility?
It's a good question.
I think that's a very good question. Right after they put out this statement that we're not trading you and we're not giving you the contract, and he just stops showing up. And I feel like if this were the Bucks, this would be leading NBA Today every segment. That's a huge deal. He's not showing up when they said they wouldn't trade him after he gave his list of teams. Clearly there's something going on here.
It's a very big deal. Things are happening. I don't think Jimmy wants to leave Miami. I really don't.
No.
But I think he wants something that the Heat won't give him.
I think he also wants to be right more than he wants to live in Miami.
Oh yeah. I think he wants to spite Pat Riley.
At this point, yeah.
Yeah, because it's two guys who always want to be right going at each other. Exactly. And that never leads to good things. Except if you're watching that or hoping for the downfall of that organization. Yes. For us, it's great. It's awesome.
I mean, there's clearly so much fighting going on here. I didn't, like 2 weeks ago. I think he is going to get traded.
It's going to be so funny if he gets traded because of that statement they put out.
Yes, 100%. I think that's part of it.
You didn't need to do that.
Well, I think that was them escalating it.
Well, here's another thing at that. I think part of the Sean's reporting as well was that Jimmy was not happy that the Heat did not just publicly quash any trade rumors, and now this is them publicly quashing trade rumors. So maybe this is not escalating, but try to rekindle.
I don't know. We'll see. We'll see, man. It doesn't add up to me as a peaceful situation. I'll tell you that.
That's great. I love it.
I know.
It's good for content. It's good for drama. It's good for the Bucks. It's good for ethical basketball.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what? They're the hardest working, nastiest team in the NBA. Ty.
So hardworking and nasty that Bam's ready to be a stay-at-home husband, dude.
Yeah, I mean he's the greatest shooter in NBA.
Which there's nothing wrong with. Which there's nothing wrong with if you want to do that. But that's where Bam's at right now.
Yeah, it's not. I mean that's a route I would take if I was in his situation.
I feel like if I was in the NBA, I'd focus on that.
That's fair.
16 points per game. Shooting a lot of threes, making 29%
He's not the best player in the league, though.
No, he's not. He's certainly not the best player in the league.
His counterpart is.
Yes. For now.
Sure. I don't know why that needed qualification.
Well, I think Fee is really close.
That's fair. That's fair. I think
if you don't know, Bam Adebayo's dating Asia Wilson.
Yeah, it's the worst kept secret in history.
I don't even think. Are they still trying to? I don't know if they're trying to anymore. It's been pretty apparent.
But yeah, it's
allegedly. I get maybe it's unconfirmed. Allegedly, everyone knows, but allegedly.
But yeah, I'd say for Bam, either path is not bad.
No.
I'd say either path is actually desirable.
But it's not what you want as a Heat fan.
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah, as a Heat fan, no, not even a little bit.
Yeah.
It's been tough. What are the Heat? They're still winning some games though. They had
they're yapping at the Bucks' heels because again they beat the shorthanded Magic yesterday.
Yeah, we
So
had a
they
Tyler Hero
are
game winner.
15 and 13, half a game behind Milwaukee at this point. Yeah, that loss hurt. Would have been one game behind Orlando and one game ahead of Miami. But it's actually, but now only half a game ahead of the Heat. Philly hanging in there at 12th. 2-game win streak to get themselves up to 11 and 17. Tied now with Brooklyn for 11th. So pretty close. Half a game back of Chicago in 10th. Our regular update there.
Yeah. So it seems like 3 is getting a little out of reach for the Bucks. With the Knicks at 20 and 10.
I wouldn't say yet. I mean, they play them soon. That's going to be obviously a huge game for that. And then the Knicks are on a winning streak right now, but the Bucks' schedule is so easy over the next 2 weeks. I think they could be right there depending on how these next 2 weeks go.
Yeah. How about those Christmas games?
That was fun. I was hoping Wemby was going to give us a present and beat the Knicks, and they almost did. But
they almost did. They kind of fell apart down the stretch, but Mikal went off, man.
I will say the Knicks recent, this 5-game winning streak, very shorthanded Orlando team, Minnesota, who sucks apparently, the Pelicans, who have no players, the Raptors, who are dreadful, and they gave up 125 points to the Raptors, which is honestly hard to do, but they scored 139, and then barely beat the Spurs. But their schedule is actually also pretty easy. Road trip, Orlando, Washington versus Utah, then at OKC, at Chicago, Orlando, Toronto, OKC again, and then the Bucks. So I don't think the Bucks will make up all of that ground, but they can make up quite a bit of it by that game.
Yeah, they can. It's just the Knicks look good. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, they do. Their offense looks really good. The rest of it, a little less so.
Yeah. Did you see the Raptors gave up 155 to the Grizzlies?
What's going on with the Raptors defense, man?
That's bad. They've lost 9 straight. Darko got ejected last night.
They are horrible.
Yeah, they're really bad. They're shopping Pirtle apparently.
I mean, you pretty much have to shop everyone when you're giving up 155 and you're, what are they, 14th in the East now?
Something like that.
Didn't expect that from him. I think I like their over. Yeah, they're 14th. Half a game behind Charlotte.
We both took over.
Charlotte, by the way.
Oh my God.
I don't think I've ever seen a team this young have to face the blow it up dilemma, but they gotta blow it up, dude.
Gotta do something.
It's not working.
They gotta do something, man. Yeah, it's not great. Obviously, LaMelo misses a lot of time, but
when he's there, they don't win much more. That's the issue.
Yeah. How about the Sixers, though? At least they beat the Celtics.
Yeah, that was fun.
They're really bad. I wanted both teams to lose.
But the Cavs now have a 4-game lead on second place in the East.
Yeah, after the Bulls and Sixers beat the Celtics recently?
Yeah.
Crazy.
Celtics fans, of course, they're unhinged. They're melting down.
Oh, yeah.
Can't
the Knicks are what, like 2 games behind them? 3?
Yeah. 2.
That's not like an insurmountable lead by any means.
No. There's a lot of time left in the season.
Yeah, it's only December for now.
Yeah, it's just barely.
Yeah. I mean, what's the date today? I'm the bad person to ask that.
27th.
The 27th as we're recording?
Yeah.
Cool.
It's up on my screen. I wouldn't know either if it wasn't.
Oh, it's up on my screen too. You'd think I'd look and see. And on that note, we might have close this out.
One last take on the general NBA.
Okay.
The West is soft.
It is, isn't it? I think the entire NBA is soft.
Yeah. I think the Bucks are better.
I think there's like 5 good teams.
Yeah. And like the top of the West, OKC, we saw what the Bucks did to them. Houston is second now in the Western Conference. I don't think they're that good of it. I think they're good. I don't think they're that good of a team. We'll see where they end up. Memphis in third. Memphis is pretty damn good.
But Dallas without Luka for a month is going to be interesting. They have a soft schedule as well, but
yeah.
Denver sitting at 16 and 12. They don't scare.
They don't have enough NBA players.
Yeah. Yeah, it is kind of soft. I'll tell you what, for all the discourse about how bad the East was earlier in the season, 6th in the East is at 15 and 13. 6th in the West is 17 and 13. That's not that far off.
I don't even know if they have more good teams. I think they have less dreadfully bad teams.
Yeah, I think that's it.
They only have I guess they have 3 now. The Kings are pretty bad also. Oh, the thing about like trade season is you get a player from a bad team. I've looked up and down the Kings roster. I'm not seeing the trade fit for the Bucks.
No.
The way Bobby's playing, I'm not giving him up for Trey Lyles. No, I don't think so. So that's an unfun bad team, surprise bad team where I'm just like, I don't really know who I'd poach from them.
Yeah, I don't think there is a good trade candidate there.
No.
Makes it even more encouraging that Bobby is playing very well.
Yeah.
I will say.
There's not a lot of great bigs around the NBA.
A lot of available bigs.
I think generally.
I mean, each team besides the Pelicans, I think, has a good big.
Yusuf Nurkic.
Okay, well, you had to pick. Okay, maybe the Suns and the Pelicans. Okay. You really had to do that, didn't you?
I did.
Yeah, how about the Suns, though? It's bad.
Yeah. I saw one of the two hosts of the timeline, either Sam or Mike, shared I think it was Sam, I can't remember, shared an interesting stat that they are better with either just Beal or just Booker, but they are bad when they play together, which does not seem promising given they are two of your big three. And one of them has a no trade clause.
Yeah, here's the thing. Like, Beal's not getting traded unless he's going to, I don't even know.
Would he waive it to go to Miami is the real pertinent question.
He might.
You got to get in shape.
But it's like equally bad teams. I mean, the Heat are better than the Suns right now.
And you get to live in Miami, which Phoenix is nice, but Miami's probably in lifestyle-wise. I don't know.
No?
I don't know the tax brackets offhand.
I think, yeah, I don't know either. I think it's just Texas that matters a lot.
Well, some of them are bad, too. Texas matters good. Some of them are more than others, too. I don't know.
Oh, that's true. I don't know. I don't usually have to deal with, my tens of millions of dollars.
I'm not worried about it either. Yeah.
My 50 mil salary, how that works.
Yeah, Jesus Christ.
That player option, do you think he's going to take it in 2 years?
Hard to say.
Really difficult for 57
I would take it now.
million.
I would take it now.
Can he opt into it now?
I don't think you can. I would. Like, I would be so paranoid I would forget. I would opt in today. I'm not making $55 million that year. I'll take it now.
Yeah. No one's signing me for that amount. I'm doing it. Here's the thing with Suns, though. What do you do?
I mean, I don't think they're going to do anything. I think they're going to try and make. I mean, yeah, it's pretty much trade KD. I don't think you want to get rid of Booker. I don't think you want to get rid of. Yeah, he's your guy.
Yeah, you can't. But look at look at what Minnesota did. You can't do that.
I was thinking KD would be a nice buck the other day.
KD would be a great buck. How would that work?
MLE KD next year.
MLE KD?
Or not, probably not next. I don't know when his contract is.
Yeah, I think it's 2 years. Something like that. I already have Spot Track open. Spot Track?
40-year-old KD.
Is he going to be 40?
He's only going to be 38. Only 38 when it's up.
He's under contract next year.
54 million buckaroonies.
Sheesh. He's 36, so in 2 years he'll be 38. I'll take it.
Yeah, I mean, for MLE, yeah, absolutely.
I'll take 38-year-old KD.
That's like what happens in 2K when you simulate too long.
Yeah. Oh, man. It's good to see other teams struggling and not the Bucks right now.
They just lose to the Nets.
Yeah, but they're not like at a point where it's like, do you need to trade Kevin Durant?
Yeah, no, they're out of the do we have to fold the franchise mode.
Yeah, which is what other teams are in, which is good.
Yeah.
It's just Dame and Giannis, they're sick.
Yeah, I'm eager to see the Pacers early next week because it seemed like they kind of broke their slide and now they seem kind of bad again. 15-16.
It's not great for them.
No. Obi Toppin's hurt, but you got your key player, most of your key players back, and they were pretty beat up too. But it's not been good for them.
All right. Well, I think that's
now everything.
I think that's it.
We covered it.
Well, we'll say thank you for listening to this episode of the Gyro Step here on Blue Wire and GSPN, presented by our great friends over at PrizePicks. Make sure you're subscribed wherever you're listening or watching the show. You guys know the drill. Tell your friends and family about the show. Make sure you have a safe and happy New Year. Pod random. We'll talk to you next time. Bye. I don't know why I added bye. Are we still going? Is this in? Oh no.
I don't know. I'm holding down the button, so maybe.
We'll see.
Pod random bye.